Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Alba, Judge Ramirez, congratulations to you both. Judge Alba, do you think, I want to wax a little philosophical here. Do you think a person's race should be used to harm that person?
No, Senator.
How about you, Judge Ramirez?
No, Senator.
Okay. Judge Alba, do you think that a person's race should be used to help that person?
No, Senator.
Okay. How about you, Judge?
No, Senator.
Okay. Judge Alba, why is that?
Well, as a legal standard, Senator, we try to look at people just based on either, if we're in a criminal position, we're looking at them for what they've done. In a civil matter, it usually doesn't come into account. So, and also it's something they don't necessarily control, so it seems unfair.
Okay. Judge Ramirez?
The Constitution provides for equal protection for all.
Okay. Judge Alba, this has been in the news a lot lately, and you'll probably see it if you're confirmed to the Court of Appeal. Tell me about the Dormant Commerce Clause.
Senator, I'm somewhat familiar with the Commerce Clause, which is found in Article 1 of the Constitution.
Well, there was a big Supreme Court case that just came out of your state.
And I apologize, Senator. In my 11 years of practice and my 5 years on the bench, I have not dealt with the Dormant Commerce Clause, but if I am so fortunate enough to be confirmed and have to deal with it in the future, I would certainly research it and, be prepared.
All right, then just tell me about the Commerce Clause in general.
So my understanding about the Commerce Clause, like I stated, Senator, is that it is under the Article 1 of the Constitution, and it allows the legislature to create laws that allow for movement and things related to commerce in the United States. So anything crossing state lines, things like that.
So it allows Congress to regulate commerce.
Yes.
Between whom?
Between states, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anybody else?
It's not coming to mind right now, Senator.
Okay. All right. You're familiar, Judge, I'm sure, with the Fourth Amendment and the warrant requirement. What's, just for the record, what's the warrant requirement?
The warrant requirement requires, so Fourth Amendment says that we are not subject to unreasonable searches and seizures. So in order for someone to, for example, enter our home, there needs to be a warrant. And in order to get a warrant, an officer has to, under oath, state that there is probable cause to believe that either a crime has been committed or there is a crime afoot, and that they have to describe with particularity the place to be searched.
And that's based on the Supreme Court's interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's suppose that Florida passed a law and said, we don't agree with the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment and the warrant requirement. We're really concerned about the power of the state. And we're going to ignore the warrant requirement that no police officer has the right to come in your home, probable cause or otherwise, unless you agree to it. Would that be legal?
Well, Senator, I'd have to, it's somewhat of a hypothetical question, but I would,
It's a very real question. Happened before. Would that be legal?
I would have to look at it a little bit more carefully, but, you know, on first blush, my concern would be that under the Article 6, the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Yeah.
So we have to follow it.
What if Florida said under the state constitution, we're doing this? Does the U.S. Constitution always, or the Supreme Court's interpretation of the U.S. Constitution always prime a state constitution?
I have not dealt with that issue
Well,
in
there's a big case out of your state that deals with this issue.
it.
You familiar with the Pruneyard case?
The Pruneyard case I am familiar with.
Tell me the holding of that.
The holding of that was, it had to do with individuals who wanted to,
Yeah, but just tell me the holding. I remember the facts. Tell me the holding.
the holding was that the takings clause didn't apply to individuals outside of a shopping center who wanted to protest or
Yeah,
because.
but the point I'm trying to make is that the U.S. Supreme Court in that case said that the California Constitution primes the federal Constitution, didn't it? Isn't that what it said?
Yes, Senator.
So you want to go back to your answer about the Florida hypothetical I gave you?
As I stated, Senator, if I had a little more time to look at it and really think about it, I would
Okay.
be able to come up with something.
Thank you, Judge.